Chapter 189 Global Times. The next day, Irina took the team to Las Vegas to form a new Las Vegas TV station. ABC is now well staffed and it is not difficult to get a local station. Hardy has one more thing to accomplish in Los Angeles. His transaction with MGM also involves the Los Angeles Times. Now Hardy owns 11% of the Los Angeles Times shares and has become one of the major shareholders of the newspaper. He has read the company's shareholder statement brought by Andy. The Los Angeles Times is a mirror company, and shareholders include Bank of America and the Morgan family. The headquarters of the Los Angeles Times is in Los Angeles. Hardy asked Andy to make an appointment for him. Yesterday, he was notified that the company will hold a shareholder meeting and management meeting to welcome the company's new major shareholders. Today, Hardy came to the Los Angeles Times headquarters and met the management and several shareholder representatives. Although Hardy's current strength is incomparable with large consortia such as Morgan and Bank of America, no one dares to disagree on the West Coast, especially Los Angeles. Attach great importance to. After greetings with shareholders and management, the president introduced the current situation of the Los Angeles Times to Hardy. The editorial department has more than 350 employees, and has resident reporters in more than 20 countries and regions. They obtain thousands of pieces of information every day. It is necessary to screen the most worthy information to be reported. At the same time, the Los Angeles Times is also the one with the most advertisements among the three major newspapers. One family. The income has been pretty good. The Los Angeles Times is one of the three major newspapers in the United States, and it must be said that it is very powerful. Hardy put forward his own ideas, and hoped that ABC can develop in-depth cooperation with the Los Angeles Times, especially in news, and hope that the Los Angeles Times can provide ABC with more information and news. And the most important thing is to push it in time. For news, timeliness is very important. Often when you broadcast a few minutes earlier than others, the effect of the audience's response is completely different. The president immediately expressed his willingness to cooperate with ABC. Of course, providing news is not free, and the Los Angeles Times will have an extra income. The two parties had a very pleasant meeting this time. Leaving the Los Angeles Times, Hardy and Andy got into the car. Hardy thought for a while and said, "Andy, we also need to have our own newspaper, that kind of global newspaper. Do you think cooperating with the Los Angeles Times is not enough?" Andy was surprised. Hardy shook his head. "Working with the Los Angeles Times, we just have one more channel for listening, and we also need a place where we can speak. Isn't ABC just the place where the sound is made?" TV stations are only one aspect. ABC now only covers the entire United States, and the households covered by TV stations are only those with TV sets and radios, which are very limited. Although the communications industry has developed rapidly and television stations have gradually become one of the mainstream, newspapers are still the largest information channel. The most important thing is that they can be distributed in multiple countries, unlike ABC, which is only in the United States. Although the posterity of newspapers has declined, it was replaced by new media that gradually became popular after the 1990s. But now it is 1947. In these decades, newspapers will still be the largest media means. "Boss, what do you want to do?" Andy asked. On the way to Hardy had a preliminary idea in his mind, saying, "We have money, the easiest way is to buy. There are 50 states in the United States. We buy a small newspaper in each state and connect them together to become a big newspaper. There are more than 40 countries in Europe, and each country buys one or two newspapers. There are more than 40 countries in Asia, and we will buy a newspaper from each country, such as Japan, North Korea, and India. There are also places like South America and Africa that have bought some newspapers to expand their sources of information." Andy looked at Hardy in surprise. "Boss, this can cost a lot of money, at least $10 million to start, and a lot of money will be invested in the early stage to feed this newspaper." For Andy, Building such a newspaper is not worth the gain. If you want news, you have already cooperated with the Los Angeles Times. If you want to speak out, you can advertise, contribute, and ABC. There is no need to spend so much investment and energy on your own. A newspaper. Heidi smiled. Andy, why do we make money? Andy was a little stunned by the question. In order to enjoy a better life, it doesn't cost much. The life of a millionaire is already very good. In order to realize their own value, sometimes money is just a number. In order to make society more advanced and the world better, this is a term used by politicians, not suitable for businessmen. I don't think I understand. The boss. Why do you make so much money? Andy asked. Ha 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 ha, for the sake of coolness. Do whatever you want, and wait for Lao Tzu to have his own global newspaper. When that happens, you will scold whoever you want to scold, and you will expose whoever you want to be exposed. Hardy said with a smile. Andy was stunned. Okay. This is in line with the boss's personality. Heidi has just sold 20% of ABC Broadcasting Company's shares. He has a large amount of cash in his hand, and his industry is making money. Now he can easily spend 20 million. Furthermore, even if the newspaper is acquired, it will not be completed in a short while. This investment may take several years. No problem, boss. What do you need me to do? Andy asked. Help me find a good president. The future development of the newspaper depends on this person. If the person is not suitable, my time will be wasted. Hardy said. I understand the boss, and I will find the right person. By the way, what do you plan to call this newspaper? Andy asked. Hardy thought for a while. Global Times. Andy moved very fast, and helped Hardy choose a few talents. After reading the resumes of these people, Hardy felt that one of them was not bad. This person is now the president of Los Angeles Daily Tribune. The Tribune is not ranked in Los Angeles. The daily circulation is only more than 10,000 copies. The total number of the newspaper is only 6 people, and it is in a half-lost state. That's it. This newspaper still insists on its own style. The content is more serious, mainly about politics, economy, military, international relations, law, human rights, science, literature, academics, etc. Generally, major international newspapers report on these contents, and some tabloid newspapers tend to take the professional route in order to survive, such as financial newspapers, stock newspapers, entertainment newspapers, etc. Tabloids that write serious content have no room for survival at all. You have neither authority nor extensive information sources. How could you have done those big newspapers? But this President Mark Keane has been insisting on it for 2 years. Of course, it's hard to say whether you can continue to persevere. If you don't make money, you lose money. Ordinary people can't hold on. It may be related to his origin. He graduated from Worcester College, Oxford University, and later worked for the New York Times. He became deputy editor at the age of 28. When World War II broke out, Mark Keane resolutely joined the army and finally became a war correspondent. Even on the battlefield, he braved the rain of bullets and went deep into the French hinterland, reporting a lot of battlefield news, and wrote a lot of battlefield articles. After the end of World War II, he retired from the army and did not return to the New York Times. Instead, he started a tabloid Daily Tribune to report world news from his own perspective. Hardy met Mark Keane in the office, and Hardy felt that Mark Keane and Tom Hanks looked a bit alike. They both had that kind of long heads. Mr. Mark should know the content of our meeting this time. Hardy said. Yes, Mr. Andy told me that Hardy wants to form a global newspaper and needs a suitable person to take charge. Mark said. Then are you willing? Of course I am willing. It has always been my dream to be a global newspaper. Then tell me if you can do the job. Mark Keane recounted his resume, and then said, I can speak 5 languages: English, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. With these 5 languages, I can communicate in most places in the world. Acquiring newspaper offices and establishing stations in other countries requires frequent flying around. I am 34 years old and I am full of energy. I have a wealth of work experience, the deputy editor of the New York Times, a war correspondent, and I founded a newspaper, so I can deal with all kinds of problems. Hardy nodded. These are indeed his advantages over others. Then what are your requirements, such as share dividends, salary? Hardy asked. Boss, I don't want share dividends. The salary is just as normal, but I have one requirement. Mark Keen's tone became a little serious. Hardy knows that it's often harder to get things done that doesn't value money. Tell me. I hope that the news reported by the Global Times will strive to be truthful and not be biased for certain political purposes. Then it will lose the purpose of news and become a manipulation of public opinion. Mark Keen looked at Hardy directly, without any fear in his eyes. Hardy thought for a while and said, the principle of the Global Times is to strive for truth, fearlessness, impartiality, regardless of party, region or any special interests. This is my opinion. What do you think? After Hardy finished speaking, Mark Keen's eyes suddenly brightened. Mr. Hardy, do you really think so? Certainly. Mark Keen became more excited. I just want to open a newspaper like this, Mr. Hardy. If you let me be the president, I will do my best to grow the Global Times. With your financial support, I believe from now on, the Global Times will not lose to the Times, Guardian, Washington Post, New York Times and other major newspapers. Hardy stood up and stretched out his hand to Mark Keen. Well, I will leave the work to you. Mark Keen shook hands with Hardy excitedly. Boss, how much are you going to give me? Mark Keen asked. This guy's name has become so fast. How much do you want? Mark Keen thought for a while. My initial plan is to acquire 20 newspapers in the US, then 5 newspapers in Europe, www.mtlnovel.com, and set up 10 communication stations, and 2 communication stations in Asia. Japan and Hong Kong will acquire a newspaper in Australia and 35 newspapers in South America. In this way, even if our newspaper is established, on this scale, I am afraid that it will cost more than $2 million. Mark Keen looked at Hardy. Although Hardy had just said that he fully supported him, he did not know how much his boss would support him. After all, $2 million can be a huge sum of money in this era, comparable to $200 million in later generations. Hardy smiled faintly. No problem, I will allocate $2 million to the Global Times, but this money will be reviewed by Andy's finance team. Mark Keen is overjoyed. Great boss, don't worry, I won't spend this money randomly, every penny will give it the best value. After saying this, Mark Keen paused. Became a little nerdy. Boss, the first newspaper. What do you think of the acquisition of the Daily Tribune? Hardy laughed after hearing it. The Daily Tribune is the newspaper that Mark Keen is about to fail. Chapter 190. The Las Vegas channel is live. The Global Times newspaper was officially established, but Hardy did not act as a man. He brought Andy and Mark Keen to Las Vegas. In the Hardy hotel room, Hardy called Irina to meet alone. Boss, things are going very smoothly on the TV station. That Colin Firth is not bad. He speaks humorously and is very suitable to be the host of this open-style show. He is now leading people to record the show. Irina Huey reports. Yes, I will see the effect of the film later. I have something else to look for you this time, Hardy said and handed the 2 documents to Irina. Share agreement. Corporate agreement. Irina was surprised after reading it. Hardy wanted to get a newspaper. The share agreement stated that she owns 2% of the Global Times. Then let yourself be the legal person of the Global Times. Boss, why did you let me be a man? Irina asked in surprise. Hardy spread out and said helplessly, U.S. law stipulates that one person cannot be the owner of newspapers and TV stations at the same time. To avoid future troubles, Andy suggested that I find another legal person. Of course, legal persons do not need to hold shares. Then why do you want to give me shares again? Hardy just said that the Global Times is going to become a major newspaper like the New York Times and Los Angeles Times. The market value of each of those major newspapers is over 10 million. Although they only give themselves 2% of the shares, they are also worth $300,000. This is not a small amount of money. Irina's current salary is $500 per month plus bonuses, which is already a very high salary, but even so, it will take 30 years to earn $200,000 or $300,000. In the later generations, it is equivalent to the boss giving you $20 to $30 million in shares for nothing, and you are unhappy. Hardy reached out and touched Irina's face, and said softly, "I remember your birthday a few days later. This is a birthday present for you." Irina fainted again. Brought Irina to the office. Irina met Andy and Mark Keane. The French girl signed the agreement and became a shareholder and legal person of the Global Times. As for the remaining shares of the Global Times, Andy will hide it through the cross-holding of multiple companies. Immediately afterwards, Hardy took Mark Keane to meet Donald Sutherland, the editor-in-chief of the Las Vegas News. The Las Vegas News, as the first newspaper to be acquired, will be incorporated into the Global Times from today. Hardy ignores the rest, leaving it to Mark Keane to take care of himself. What is the purpose of spending money to hire people is to let them kill themselves. If they do everything by themselves, no matter how much energy they have, they will be exhausted. Hardy brought Irina and Andy to the Las Vegas TV station. The staff was busy setting up the equipment, and the editing team edited the things that were shot a few days ago. It was a busy scene. It is estimated that it will take 10 days to set up the radio station. This period of time is used to produce programs. Irina estimates that 100 hours of programs can be produced, but a lot of content can be played repeatedly, and new programs will be produced at the same time, so it's no problem to satisfy the broadcast. Boss, how should you make the betting you said? Irina asked. Hardy said before that the TV station broadcasts the casino lottery and can accept people from other places to call bets. This activity requires a lot of preparation. Hardy explained, "I have already set up a company alone. This company specializes in betting business. The legal person is Bill's manager and does not own the company's shares. The company's interests are returned to the Los Angeles company. Now they are already working and employ 200 operators. If you want to bet, you must first transfer the money to the account of the betting company. The account is set up at Wells Fargo Bank. Money can be transferred across the country, and it can also be transferred through other banks, so this is very convenient. Every player has an account, and the betting company charges a 5% labor fee. When you want to place a bet, call the betting company and ask them to help with the betting and cross out the money in the account. There is no additional charge for gambling, only the casino rake and the various income taxes stipulated by the law are paid, but you must personally come to Las Vegas to collect it. Of course, you can also ask the betting company to help collect it, but as long as the funds enter the betting company, the account is automatically charged a 5% labor service fee. U.S. law does not allow the sale of lottery tickets. This can be said that the betting company is helping to place bets in the casino, not counting the purchase of lottery tickets. Even if this betting company is finally traced, it has nothing to do with the Hardy Hotel. We are only responsible for the casino lottery. As for who bet, we are not responsible for verifying. It is a big deal that they will catch that legal person. Irina was a little dumbfounded. It turns out that you can still play like this. Almost all the details have been thought of, perfectly avoiding the legal investigation clause. Even if it is really held accountable, the Hardy Hotel does not have any responsibility. The gangsters are allowed to carry this gangster, and if they are thrown out to jail alone, the matter can be settled. Hardy continued, the betting company stipulates that the minimum deposit bet amount is $100. Our TV station is nationwide. If 10,000 people participate in the game, The betting company can receive 1 million funds. The handling fee for 1 million funds is $50,000 US. If there are 100,000 people participating, it is 10 million and the handling fee is 500,000. Will there be so many people? Irina asked. Heidi smiled slightly. Don't talk about the United States. Do you know how many people in Los Angeles participate in underground gambling every year? There are more than 100,000 people. Do you know how many people in New York participate in underground gambling? This number is even higher. Los Angeles underground gambling is controlled by Hardy. The Corleone family is the big dealer of underground gambling in New York, so Hardy is very clear about these data. Put it across the country, and the number will be even greater. The most important thing is not the handling fee. The lottery games are open to the whole country, which will play a great role in promoting the Hardy Hotel. More and more tourists will come here to play in the future. And there are more people betting. The amount of bet will increase a lot. The larger the amount, the stronger the stimulation to people, and the more people want to play. If an average of $20,000 per game, 10 games per day is 200,000, and the casino rate is 15% before tax after winning, then we can earn $30,000, and this income alone can reach tens of millions of US dollars every year. Irina slapped her tongue. Tens of millions of dollars in revenue. I really don't know how the boss grows his head. He always thinks of some wonderful ways to make money, and all of them are huge profits. Night. Heidi came to the manor with Irina and Andy. Bill also came during dinner. Andy and Bill were very familiar with each other, and they greeted with a smile. Irina had heard of Bill, but it was the first time I saw Bill. Hardy introduced Bill to Irina. Irina looked at Bill and said to her heart that this is the biggest gangster in Los Angeles right now, but in front of her boss, although Bill was joking and joking, there was a sense of awe in her bones. After dinner, a few people chatted in the living room. Hardy asked Bill, "How is the arrangement of the betting company?" "I have been here for the past few days to focus on this matter. I am next to the casino. I bought a hotel and transformed it into a company. Now I have recruited 200 wiring girls who are undergoing training. They will work in 2 shifts, work 10 hours per shift. There are more than a dozen specialized statisticians and accounting bookkeepers. They accept bets 1.5 hours before each draw, and then make statistics for the next half an hour, and then send them to the casino to bet and wait for the draw." Hardy told. "This is a formal company. The accounts must be clear. The tax should not be low, and the tax bureau cannot find loopholes. As for other things, if they are investigated for other reasons, they can find a lawyer to defend in court." Bill nodded. "I know that tax will not be less, and I have already found someone to take charge of this matter." Night. Heidi lives in Irina's room. Yes, is Irina's room. The last time the casino opened, the women came to Las Vegas. They all lived here, and each selected a room. And these rooms, no one else will live in the future, as long as they come. Here is their exclusive room, and even the furniture decoration can be recreated. If the women put any furnishings here, such as favorite dolls, favorite pillows and mattresses, the housekeeper will keep them and no one will move them. Irina has been living in her own room in the manor in the past few days when she came to Las Vegas. This feeling is very strange, making her feel like one of Hardy's wives. One of the wives! Irina felt that she had fallen. The next day Andy returned to Los Angeles. There was a lot of work to establish the Heidi Group. Andy is now busier than anyone else. Heidi stayed and guided the establishment of a TV station. Whether it was a shortage of people or materials, a phone call was transferred from Los Angeles. Finally, 20 days later, the establishment of Las Vegas TV station was completed. A day of trial operation was carried out before. Today is the day of official operation. Connected to the national TV signal network, Hardy personally pressed the power button. Las Vegas TV broadcasted the logo for the first time, followed by a landscape photo of Las Vegas and the gorgeous night view of the casino. The lights are brilliant and neon flashing, and there are casino plaques everywhere. The camera enters the Hardy Hotel, the magnificent gambling hall, the lively and noisy scene, the scene of people smiling after winning money. The over-the-picture sound played, Las Vegas. Here is a city of entertainment, a city that never sleeps. Welcome to Las Vegas. Then the host Colin appeared and smiled and said to the camera, "From now on, I will take everyone to understand Las Vegas in depth. What shall we watch at the first stop?" Colin smiled. "How about taking you to see a striptease show? If you are interested, come with me." He laughed and led the way, and the camera followed. This is the first time this program format appeared on TV. The audience felt very special, as if they were traveling together. Crossed the pink corridor and came to a hall. At this moment, dozens of spectators were sitting on both sides of the stage. With the sound of the music, a beautifully dressed and exposed dancer walked onto the stage to show off her perfect female body. Certainly, this woman is wearing clothes, but it is a little bit exposed, but it is definitely within the range allowed by the TV station. Colin took a color-printed promotional color from the shelf next to him, and said with a grin, "Have you seen this brochure? There are photos of all the dancers, three-dimensional heights and weights, and their names. They are now on the stage marked with this bit, known as Las Vegas Night Flower Jenny." Speaking, the camera turned to the stage again. Looking at some, Colin looked at the time, and suddenly said anxiously, "The draw time is about to come. I have to hurry up and make a bet. If I win, I'll be rich." The camera followed Colin hurriedly to the casino lobby. "There is a betting spot here. You can exchange for a lucky draw ticket by spending $2 or using a chip representing $2. Colin stuffed the lottery ticket in his hand into the large transparent glass box, then introduced to the camera, "Are you curious about what this is playing? I will use this period of time before the draw to popularize it." Then Colin began to introduce the casino lottery rules to the audience, by numbers to bet, and the prize was opened every 2 hours, and the winner took all the bonuses of this period. About 10 minutes later, the lottery began. The lottery tickets were tumbling in the large glass box. Finally, some of them were sucked up. The lottery entered the next round, and finally one was selected. At this moment, hundreds of people gathered around the lottery table, waiting for the draw. The host looked at the number and shouted into the microphone, "Congratulations to this lucky customer. He won the prize and got $9,880 US. The number is..." Suddenly the sound of a snare drum sounded suddenly. It's a good atmosphere. "The prize winner is number 579. At this time, a middle-aged man in the crowd suddenly jumped up and shouted excitedly, "I won the prize! I won the prize for Garda!" Screamed while running onto the stage. "Are you number 579? It's me, it's me." He said it was lower than the lottery ticket held in his hand. After verifying that the host is correct, he smiled and congratulated, "Mr. Congratulations on your winning the grand prize." He said that he would give a few wads of money to the middle-aged man. "The bonus here is the bonus after taxes and fees have been completed for you. Now the money is at your disposal." The host smiled. Holding the money in his hand, the middle-aged man suddenly burst into tears. "I lost my original job. I didn't find a new job after looking for 2 months. I don't have a wife and no home. I only have $20 left." Where the miracle was created, I got on the bus that came here. I originally thought that I lost all my money, so I found a place to commit suicide, but I didn't expect it. Speaking of here, he looked at the stacks of banknotes in his hand, and sobbed, "The goddess of luck finally took care of me once, and I want to thank it for giving me a chance to be born again." The people around were very moved. The host took the microphone and asked, "What are you going to do after winning the money?" "My dream is to be a farmer. I plan to use the money to buy a small farm, grow food, grow vegetables, and raise cattle and sheep. That is the life I long for." The host smiled and patted the middle-aged man on the shoulder. "Congratulations, the money in your hand is enough to buy a 200-acre farm." Heidi looked at the picture in the player, and looked at Irina and said, "Is the acting a bit too much? It seems a bit exaggerated." Irina chuckled, "Boss, this is not an actor, but a real customer. and we have saved his name and contact information. We are going to make a return visit in a few days. When he buys the farm, we will come to his take a look at the farm. The effect should be very good. Hardy didn't expect it to be true, and he was also surprised. But Irina said that during a return visit, Hardy thought the idea was very good. www.mtlnovel.com to change destiny and realize dreams is an excellent publicity for the casino. Hardy looked at Irina with admiration. The draw is over. Colin continued to introduce the camera. This is the lottery game activity of the Hardy Hotel. Is it interesting? Welcome everyone to play at the Hardy Hotel. You can also be the lucky person. Go, take you to other places to play. There are many fun places here. The show continues. Hardy nodded and thought it was pretty good. This Colin Firth is indeed a talent. Very suitable for this kind of relaxed TV show. These are the programs recorded a few days ago, boss. When we record the program in the next issue, we can join the content of the betting company, Irina said. Hardy waved his hand. No, don't introduce it on TV. If our TV station introduces it directly, it will become our industry. This is the evidence. I have instructed Bill to let them advertise in the tabloid. Even if there is a problem, the casino will not be involved. Irina looked at Hardy and found that the boss was so cunning.